Hey, it's Chris, back in the studio. Already uploaded my hands-on first impressions video of the new iPad Pros, but I do want to spend some time talking about my hands-on time with the iPad Airs. Can I just start by saying people really have no idea what they want when it comes to iPads. In particular, the iPad Air. You have a lot of people on the one hand saying the lineup is too cluttered. They need to get rid of the Air and just have the Mini, the entry level, and the Pro, and that would be much simpler. On the other hand, you have a lot of people making the point that with the price drop on the base entry level and the price increase for the iPad Pro, it actually makes sense for the first time in a long time for the Air to be sitting there where it is, offering what it does. When it comes to the new iPad Air, for me, almost the most exciting thing is that the Apple Pencil Pro isn't reserved only for the new iPad Pro. You can use it with the Air. So with the gestures and the haptics and the barrel roll functionality, I really am excited for people to try that out because it really is that awesome. It feels so different. I know it doesn't look different, but in practice, using it with all these new features feels like a whole new Apple Pencil. Forget about all the other specs. When you have this most upgraded Apple Pencil available to you, then what you really have are more creative options. You don't know what you're gonna do with the barrel roll until you start messing around with it and start turning it around and playing with stuff and realize, oh, you can write in whole new ways. You can control things in all your favorite apps soon with the API for the developers in all new ways. And it just gets you thinking really in a more creative way because you just have more options. So that's gonna open up a world of possibilities for people. Just like on the Pros, in fact, it was announced first, the camera has moved from portrait to landscape orientation when it's sitting there on the Magic Keyboard. This is great. This is something that everybody wanted. And by the way, it's one of the reasons why the old Apple Pencils aren't gonna work here on the new devices, because Apple needed to reconfigure the way that things connected and charged with the Apple Pencil with that camera sitting right underneath. So that all needed to get redesigned is my suspicion. Now, the Airs can make use of the Magic Keyboard, but I should really say a Magic Keyboard because it's not the same new aluminum Magic Keyboard that the Pro lineup now has, but that doesn't matter. I really have been a fan of the older now Magic Keyboard for a long time. Such a great typing experience. I really love it. You can go back and look at all my iPad videos and see how much I've loved this Magic Keyboard. Everyone at the Apple event was asking me, Chris, what was your favorite thing that was announced today? It's hard for someone like me to pick because even the small details tend to be really big details for me, who's sort of like an iPad geek and I get really into all the different things. But I was saying the accessories are actually some of my favorite things, the Apple Pencil, the Magic Keyboard. So if you haven't connected the dots already, the way to think about the Air lineup is that you get all this stuff that debuts in the Pro and then makes its way, it trickles down to the Air lineup a little bit later. So you have all this stuff that's considered Pro not very long ago, a couple days ago, that now lives on the Air lineup for cheaper. I mean, so really, it's still Pro in a way. It's just not the latest Pro stuff. Does that make sense? It's something to celebrate, really. I know a lot of people's buying strategy is they want whatever the Pro stuff is, but they're willing to wait a little bit until it makes it to the Air, and that's cool. It is something to celebrate. And to help you celebrate, I'm giving you 50% off all of my courses right now. So if you want to learn how to be more productive, if you want to go deep into freeform and go way beyond the basics, there's several courses there, all 50% off, all linked up down below. But the concept of ProTech trickling down to the iPad Air and coming in at a better price point for people really applies to the new M2 chip. That was the Pro chip in the iPad Pro until just the other day. And it was so pro that you had a huge chunk of people saying it's so powerful, I don't even know how I could put all that power to use. Okay, so you have that power at your disposal in the Air right now. And what really hit me at the event as I'm looking at all the different demos on all the new iPads was that you can still do all the Pro stuff, most of the Pro things on the Air. It's just a matter of scale. So for instance, if you want to stick some Chroma Glow on your Logic projects, you don't have to have the Pro to do that. You can do that with the Air, for instance, but it's just a matter of how many instances you might be able to do that with for all your instruments, right? So it's kind of funny, Apple's naming strategy for the iPads either does or doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about things a little too much, because the Air is now not the most airy thing. There's something that's lighter than Air, so to speak. That's the new iPad Pro. It's just a little bit lighter than the iPad Air, which is kind of weird from a naming perspective. But then also you can do a lot of really Pro things, maybe not as luxuriously, let's say, as the Pro on the Air. So, we got the new Pro LEDs. The Pros have the OLEDs. That's what I'm gonna be calling it from now on, so you might as well get used to it. And you don't have that on the Air. What does that mean? Does that mean that the iPad Airs have bad screens, that they don't look good? Well, the answer is no, absolutely not. So just because you don't have OLED and you don't have that super rich, inky, dark black that's making the colors really contrast and pop, that doesn't mean that the screen technology is disappointing. I don't want people to think that, because you're not going to even care, most people, or notice. For everyday computing, for everyday watching of stuff, what it is a little less luxurious, okay? Does it look better on the Pros? Well, yeah, unquestionably. And when I saw it, I was struck by how good it looks on the Pros. But if you don't have the Pro sitting next to it, you're not going to constantly be thinking, oh no, this is the worst experience. What did I do? What did I purchase? Not at all. Like, you're going to be very happy with the display technology here, okay? Now, if you're cruising the Air's website, you might notice some text that calls out having powerful new AI capabilities. Now, it's not AI like a lot of people think of AI right now, like generative ChatGPT sort of AI, which we may actually see more of at WWDC. But what Apple really means by that is, you have a photo editing app open, and with the tap of a button, it does all these crazy, immense amounts of calculations in a snap and enhances your photo. Like that sort of AI. The kind of AI where you can load up your golf app and it will analyze the footage of your swings, right? And help you improve. Those are actual AI practical things where Apple's using machine learning to produce cool results for you without you having to intervene and really think. And it's that kind of stuff that the M2 just chews through. It's really, really snappy for. For those that are interested, can you game enjoyably on the Air? Yes, obviously. Now you have that 13-inch size. So kind of like the iPad lineup, we have new sizes here. Well, it just mirrors the Pros, right? You got the 11-inch and you have the 13-inch. I think it's just easier, honestly, for everybody if Apple calls it the 13-inch instead of saying, 12.9-inch or whatever tweaks may or may not get made. We have the 13-inch, and honestly, all your content, all your games are going to look good on the 11 and on the 13, but you can notice if you load up a freeform board, for instance, that on the 13-inch at 100%, you can see more. You get that more screen real estate. It's not like zoomed in or out to just fit the content. You actually see more on the screen with that bigger size. So do keep that in mind. That works for websites. It works for multitasking. If you're going to do some multitasking, you want to do that split screen, you want the best experience, it's nice to have that option to have the 13-inch on the Air now, because it does make a difference. So is the iPad Air the right iPad for you? I'm going to go hands-on. All this stuff is being shipped to me very quickly. I'm gonna spend some time, like a week with it, report back, do the unboxing, the actual first impressions, put it through the paces, compare it to everything under the sun. All right, so I tried to answer a bunch of questions in the last video. If you have some more questions, drop them in the comments and I'll try to get to those as I'm crunching through all the new iPad content. There's gonna be so much to cover, so get yourself subscribed if you're not already. This channel is known for its iPad content if you're new around here, so we're gonna cover it all which way from Tuesday. Don't forget to check out the sale on the courses, 50% off all the courses, linked up down below. And I'll catch you in the next video soon. Later.